From the iconic Jeep to the ubiquitous Sherman tank, motorized vehicles played a critical role in the Second World War. The U.S. Army possessed an enormous number and variety of motor transport. They hold an important place in history.
They sure do, and a Denton man is doing his part to keep that history alive. Kevin Middleton has built a successful career keeping modern-day farm equipment and heavy-duty trucks on the road, but in his spare time, he rebuilds these rumbling war machines. I recently stopped by his shop to see how much work goes into restoring these timeless workhorses. On just about any sunny day, on a rural road in Denton, you might catch Kevin Middleton taking an old World War II vehicle like this one for a spin.
1941, it's a Dodge half-ton. They called it a WC3.
It's one of many war-era vehicles that have recently rolled into Middleton's garage for restoration. So how did you get into restoring these?
A gentleman that is a friend of mine was really into, he's got several trucks, like 7, 8, maybe 9 trucks of his own. His name's John Gott, who lives on Kent Island. And being a mechanic and knowing him and whatnot, he was like, well, can you give me a hand with this?
Next thing Middleton knew, he was getting requests from other vehicle owners to restore their military rides.
It just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and a lot of it was coordinated by John through these different, the different museums and the galleries and independent people who had they're into the activity.
Some of the vehicles come into his shop in pieces.
Most of them, it's, what have I got myself into again? Some of these pieces come in, they are true basket cases. You spend time and you coordinate with the owner and you do a lot of talking, and when it does come together, it's the end result is the fun part.
Others roll in like they just rolled out of the war era.
Because they've been around for 80 years and people have kept up on them and they've been restored or partially restored or to whatever the previous owner's ability was or the people who did it for him and whatnot.
The WC3 spent nearly a year in Middleton's garage. During that time, he stripped it down to the bare bones and meticulously built it back up, bolt by bolt.
You almost got to strategically plan what do you do in what order so you can get things apart, and then you got to be able to get it back together again, because find a manual for a truck like this, good luck.
Middleton says if they can't find a replacement part for a vehicle, he'll either manufacture it himself or call on his many local fabricators to help him out.
Sometimes with like that truck there, we had a book and everything that we could go back and look through and read, and it's hard enough to understand just because it's old military books.
Tyler Lyons works for Middleton's modern heavy and medium truck and equipment business, but also enjoys helping him out on the old military pieces.
It's a big learning curve, Betsy, learning all the old technology. It's a lot different. It's a big learning curve. Mm-hmm. For the most part, it's, transmission to transmission, gearboxes and everything. But I mean, there's some things that it takes a little bit to learn. Both
have traveled to the World War II American Experience in Gettysburg to work on vehicles there.
I've worked on M18 Hellcat, which was the fastest tank the United States had during World War II. Had a 9-cylinder rotary engine into it. It was like an airplane motor stuck in the back of a tank. I've worked on what they call a Fox, which is an armored wheeled vehicle. I've worked on the Dragon Wagon. I've worked on the Dragon Wagon trailer.
Middleton says he's never been what you call a World War II buff, but he does have experience from his time in the military.
I was a mechanic in the Army. Abrams, the 113s, they had the V6 diesel engines into them. There was different track vehicles that I had fooled with when I was in the service back in the 80s. So I got some hands-on experience with it. I do know that being as tall as I am, behind the driver's seat is not where I necessarily want to be on these track vehicles. Not, getting in and out of the shop, then somebody else can take it over. I had enough of that when I was in the Army. But getting them going, that's pretty fun. I'm more of the tinker fixer kind of.
Tyler, on the other hand, embraces the mystery that accompanies these vehicles to the shop.
I enjoy learning all the history, and we actually go to shows and everything, and we have to do everything period correct. And then there's sometimes that the tanks and stuff, we don't have books on it, and you just kind of have to figure out as you go and ask people for references, and it's tricky sometimes.
But Middleton adds, the joy of the restoration is worth every second of frustration. When you get in it and you turn that key and it starts up, how's that feel?
No, it's phenomenal. I mean, you're seeing the finished product finally has come full swing. So, you know, it's just every time you start it up and you're ready to take it out on the road, you're anxious to see that wave at you because it's done, you know, and I'm really excited about seeing the owner's face when he gets it.
Leaving him ready to start turning wrenches on the next vehicle to take it to its former glory. And Kevin says he couldn't do his work without other local businesses such as E.R. Harvey Metalworking in Easton and Chesapeake Cooling Solutions in Hillsboro. And you might have noticed a non-military history vehicle in the shop. Tyler is doing a bit of repair work to it. It's a 1959 Jeep. He even let me get in on the job changing spark plugs. And I know my father is looking down from heaven proudly.
Oh my goodness.
That was so much fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You enjoyed that.
I did, and riding around in that truck, it was a beautiful day. I could have done that all day.